Alrighty. Let's do this. Got an episode. Share it with people. Start in a few moments. Got some big news to share. Okay. Few moments and we will start. Got some big news for the podcast. Just going to give one more minute. Few seconds and I will begin. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back for episode 20 of the Benny in the Booth podcast. On this week's episode of the podcast, we've got Super Bowl 56 to recap. We've got NBA trade deadline to unfold. I've got some big news for the podcast and other stuff coming up on this week's episode. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back for episode 20 of the Benny in the Booth podcast. We are finally at the 20th episode. That is a big milestone. It doesn't get me close to monetization or anything, but it is a huge milestone to be able to say that I've done 20 episodes, bringing this out weekly, and I appreciate all the support. We are still very close, 3 subscribers as of last I checked, and that was pretty recent, from the subscriber goal of 75 to 100. So let's get to that goal. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't, and leave a notification bell on so you're notified when I go live or post a video. Some big news I have before we get into this week's details of the episode. I am this is the first episode I am recording for audio, as I am now going to be starting to hopefully record every episode as well, so there's an audio version. So if you're on the go somewhere and you want to be able to listen to it without having to put on Wi-Fi, and whether on the plane have to spend money for that or some other odd case, well, now I'm putting these on audio, so it will be accessed through Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Stitcher. And it's all, once again, as I said last episode, thanks to Anchor. Anchor.fm is the website. If you have a podcast and you're looking to get it on audio, I would recommend using Anchor, because this will get you, once you start recording, it will get you on all those podcast apps, which is a huge, not just the one, but all of them. And that's big. And especially if you're on YouTube as well, getting monetization for that is quicker than getting monetization on YouTube. Because on Anchor, you just need 50 people to listen, and you're getting and you can get monetization for your podcasts. I'd recommend using it if you have a podcast. I hope that this will be the first episode to post on recordings. Hopefully I'll be able to do it at the same time and I won't have to do it separately. But this is going to be a test, and if it works out, it works out. Otherwise, I will have to record after I go live every episode, which so be it. It means I get to do an audio version, which I think would be great for people that do watch, but maybe just want audio, and I think in general that maybe don't have YouTube. But yeah, don't forget to check it out. And it's through Anchor.fm, but it will be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so on and so forth under the same name. Actually, through logo, I was able to create on Anchor. They give you like a creating kind of logo. It's not my official logo for the podcast. It's just something temporarily, just so I have something there. I do hope to have a logo at some point, but I don't have an update at the current moment on the logo. Anyways, so now that we've gone through all the big news that's podcast related, let's get into the actual sports news for this week's podcast. Super Bowl 56. Wow, what a game this was. And let's just get right into it. Rams, Bengals. The Bengals won the coin toss and deferred. All the prop bets, tails won this year, I think it was, or either way. But the Bengals deferred, and it actually came in handy to some extent, and we'll get into how. But neither team did anything on their first drive, except the Bengals tried to go for it on fourth down right by the Rams territory, and it flopped, and it led to the Rams getting a touchdown to Cooper Kupp, though they had a few long plays on that drive as well. To Odell, which got them up 7-0. Bengals would drive down, put up 3 points, make it 7-3. The Rams would drive right back down to get it to Cooper Kupp for a touchdown, but they botched the extra point because Johnny Hekker, who's a holder for their extra points and field goals, could not get a grip on the football, and it botched it, and it ended up being 13-3. The Bengals ended up going downfield and getting a touchdown on a trick play where they gave the ball to Mixon, who's the running back, who threw it to, I think it was like T. Higgins in the end zone, and it fooled everybody on the Rams. And it was their version of the Philly special. It got a touchdown and made it a 13-10 game. That was the score at half. Then first of all, I'll stay on the halftime show. Yes, I'm going to talk about the halftime show. I don't have to, but I do want to say, I think, in my opinion, it actually lived up to the hype that they were putting this out to be. They were putting this out to be this, great show, could be one of the best of all time. And I don't think it was perfect by all means, but I think it did well for all the hype it had. And my grade for it's an 8 out of 10. It's definitely one of the better ones in all time. I don't know about best ever, but definitely a very good one. And I know I'm not the only person that holds to this opinion. But yeah, pretty good halftime show. So second half, the Bengals kicked it into overdrive immediately. Within the first few plays, they got a pass off to T. Higgins, I think it was Higgins, who took it all the way to the end zone for a touchdown directly. And it's just like, oh boy, wow, the Bengals take a lead in a snap of a finger. But it turned out they missed a huge face mask on Higgins, on Jalen Ramsey, who was covering Higgins. I mean, it is so obvious. Thank you for the person who liked the stream. That it's just crazy. And I said while watching this game, and I've said this to other people and they've agreed with me, that's karma for the no call that they got in their favor against New Orleans in the 2019 NFC Championship game. Now, for background's sake, basically what happened was Rams, last time they were in the Super Bowl, but the round before the Super Bowl, an NFC Championship game against New Orleans. New Orleans was driving down to try to take the lead. And on a third down, they threw past the receiver. Nickel Robbie Coleman roughed up the receiver, clear PI, but they ruled it incomplete and no flag. And that went the Rams' way because the Saints only got a field goal. They tied it, and then the Rams went in overtime. And I think that missed face mask call was karma for that. But anyways, Bengals took the lead. The Rams got a field goal. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben Schwartz. The Rams then took down the ball with about, I think it was 3 minutes left, 4 or 5 minutes left. Got a crucial fourth down conversion from Cooper Kupp run play and got a touchdown to Cooper Kupp with a little bit over a minute left to take the lead 23-20. And the Bengals got the ball, got a bit going, but the problem was on third down, they decided to run a run play, which not the greatest idea in this circumstances. But if you're going to run the ball, you want to run the ball with your best running back. They did not do that. Joe Mixon was on the sidelines, and instead they were running the ball with Samaje Perine, who's their backup running back. Now, don't get me wrong, Perine's a good running back, but he is not who should be in on that play. The person that should be in on that play is Joe Mixon, not Samaje Perine. And he didn't even get the first down, Perine. That's why I'm complaining about this. Then again, the Bengals have had bad play calling from their head coach all season, and it's not new. But it just was shocking. And I don't know. But it ended up costing them. On fourth down, they got too much pressure. Burrow had too much pressure. Barely got a pass off away. And the Rams won the Super Bowl. Now, I want to say, well, first of all, congrats to the Rams. Well-deserved, well-earned. Cooper Kupp was MVP. And I'm happy for about 99.9% of the Rams. I'm happy for Whitworth. I'm happy for Stafford, Donald, apparently who might even retire after winning the Super Bowl. He said before the game if he won, he might retire, which he's young, but he basically has every accolade now with the Super Bowl ring that he could have. He's won MVP, I think. He's won All-Pros. He's been in the Pro Bowl. He's literally got so many accolades, and honestly, wouldn't blame him. I don't think he should, but it wouldn't be necessarily crazy based on how much he's won to this point in his career and accolades. Yeah, only one Super Bowl, but hey, that's one more than a lot of people, especially on defense. So, yeah, but I'm not happy OBJ won as a Browns fan. I'm not happy about that. And I'm still not happy about that. And he actually left the game and turned out torn his ACL during the Super Bowl, which was just like which was just like maybe not karma, but that was interesting to see unfold. Yeah, but then the day the Rams won the Super Bowl, it was a great game. Both teams played well. Burrow did not even play that bad. He was pretty good. But I will say this. I said before this game that there were two main factors. Bengals O-line and Matthew Stafford. Bengals O-line sucked. 8 sacks on Burrow. And Stafford did not have that great of a game. So both my factors literally went in the negative direction for the respective teams, which was just funny thinking about it. But yeah, that was the result. That was Super Bowl 56. Rams won, and that's the NFL season. Crazy that the season's over. But I will say for Bengals fans, the one thing that can make you cheer up is you will be back very soon. The Bengals are legitimately offensive line pieces and a few other pieces away from being right back. And I think they will be back very soon. Maybe not next year, maybe in 2 years, I don't know. But they will be back. Especially since Burrow's still on his rookie contract. Jamar Chase is on his rookie contract. A lot of their key pieces are still on their rookie contracts, meaning they still have years left in their contract, which is huge for Cincinnati. And I think they will be back very soon. So that's the wrap up of the NFL season. Probably won't talk about NFL unless something big pops up until basically draft. If I get enough people that want it, I maybe will do a mock draft. But as of right now, I don't really do mock drafts. But if enough people want me to do it, I'll do a mock draft. But as of right now, I don't plan to. But yeah. So the NBA trade deadline. This week was the NBA trade deadline. Last week, Thursday. And since it was in between these episodes, I thought I might as well talk about it for this week's episode. I actually have a couple of articles just to if one doesn't have some of the others, which gives me a list of a lot of trades that happen. So I'm gonna just go through all the trades. I'll give I guess I could also say a winner and loser on certain ones. More of the bigger ones I'll say, but let's go through them. So the first trade I have here is that Rockets traded Daniel Theis to Boston for Dennis Schroeder, Ennis Freedom, and Bruno Fernando. Washington Wizards traded Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans to Dallas for Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick. The Wizards traded Aaron Holiday for cash to the Suns. The Wizards also traded Montrezl Harrell to the Hornets and got Vernon Carey and Ish Smith back from Charlotte. The Pacers traded Torrey Craig for Jalen Smith and a future second-round pick. The Celtics got Derek White from San Antonio for Josh Richardson. The 76ers, which this was the biggest trade of the trade deadline, got James Harden and Paul Millsap from Brooklyn for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. This is an interesting. The thing I'm going to say about Harden is the story of his career is literally he can't stick with one team. Yeah, he's had some teams that he's played with for multiple years, but he really cannot stick with one team. It's just hilarious to see. it's kind of like tough to assess this trade of who won and who lost right now. By the end of the day, I'm just not sure if Embiid's going to pair well with Harden. Millsap's a nice addition for them, but on the other hand, Brooklyn's getting a great shooter in Seth Curry, a great defensive piece in Ben Simmons, and you can even make a case Andre Drummond. But yeah, I'd honestly probably say Brooklyn at the moment won that trade, and I think a lot of people also do say that. Other trades that happened. Orlando received Bol, PJ Dozier, a future second-round pick in cash from Boston for future second-round pick. The Raptors traded Goran Dragic and a protected 22-22 first-round pick to San Antonio for Drew Eubanks and a 2022 second-round pick via Detroit. A four-way trade between Detroit, LA, Sacramento, and Milwaukee landed Detroit Marvin Bagley III. The Clippers got Ronnie Hood and Semi Ojeleye. The Kings got Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Jackson, and Trey Lyles. And the Bucks got Serge Ibaka, 2 future second-round picks in cash. The Heat traded KZ Okpala to OKC for 2026 second-round pick. The Trailblazers, Suns, and Jazz combined for a 3-team trade. The Trailblazers got Joe Ingles, Elijah Hughes, and a second-round pick. The Spurs got Tomas Satoransky and a 2027 second-round pick. And the Jazz got Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Juancho Hernangomez in that trade. The Kings got Domantas Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday, and a 2020 protected 2023 second-round pick from the Pacers for Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. The Trailblazers... The Pelicans got C.J. McCollum, Larry Nance Jr., and Tony Snell from Portland for Josh Hart, Tomas Satoransky, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Didi Louzada, a protected 2022 first-round pick, and 2 future second-round picks. The Cavs got Karis LeVert and a 2022 second-round pick from the Pacers for Ricky Rubio, a protected 2022 first-round pick, and 2 2022 second-round picks via Houston, and Dallas. That's through one article. Let me see if there are any others I see here. I just want to make sure. I probably could have sorted through this before, but either way, it's only like 2 other articles, so it shouldn't be that much more that harder to look through just to make sure. Got that trade. Bulls were among teams that actually did not trade at the trade deadline, and I was a bit shocked. The GM did say afterwards that he felt like they like the team that they have, but right now they're in injury trouble, and that could come back to bite them depending on how soon we get these injuries back. So we'll see what happens. Another trade I actually see here is that the Clippers got Norman Powell and Robert Covington from the Portland Trailblazers for Eric Bledsoe, Keon Johnson, Justice Winslow, and a second-round pick. The Pacers traded Torrey Craig for Jalen Smith and a second-round pick from from Phoenix. Let's see. One more article, and that's it if there is none others. I don't think it's... Never mind. So that's the summary of the trade deadline, or at least from the move that I could pull up. And that's this week's episode of the podcast, aka the first ever episode also that will be recorded. So let's wrap this up. Thank you for coming back for episode 20 of the Benny in the Booth podcast. On next week's episode, we'll have the NBA All-Star Game and its events to go over. Maybe MLB will end its lockout, which there's not much updates at the current time really on the lockout, other than University Age pretty much is set to happen. Thanks for watching this week's episode. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and leave a notification bell on so you're notified when I post a video or go live. Go check out soon on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so on once the episodes go on audio, which will hopefully be already today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.